Hi guys, so I thought I'd talk to you quickly about bonds and brick bonds. The most common bond for most buildings in the modern times is half bond or stretcher bond. It's the most simple one. Just quickly show you exactly what that is. Very simple. So say that's the bottom, essentially half on half, you put one brick on top of another. That is the most common bond around now, like that. That is half bond, stretcher bond. It's called stretcher bond because this part of the brick is called the stretcher, this part of the brick is called the head. So head, stretcher. But in this build, because I want it to look rustic and old and traditional, we're not going to go with stretcher bond. We're going to go with what's called Flemish bond. Now, it's a little bit more difficult. Originally, Flemish bond was a 9-inch single wall build, which means the modern walls 100mm thick, which is that. Back in the day, they used to be that thick, and they didn't have a cavity. So that would be the solid wall all the way up. This would be the outside of the building. This would be the inside of the building. Whereas now you have the outside single skin, they're known as skins. You have a cavity to stop the damp coming through, and then you'd have the inside skin. So overall 300. But whereas they abolished this purely because this brick would get wet on the outside and it would transfer all the way through and it would get wet on the inside. Single skin solid brick walls tend to get very damp. So if your building is a solid brick wall, it's going to get very damp unless you take some precautions. Now anyway, on to what Flemish bond is. So you'd have a stretcher here, you'd have a header there, stretcher, so it'd go along stretcher, header, stretcher, like so, like that, and then on top of that you flip it round, so you'd have a stretcher on top of a header. I'll tell you, let's use that one. A header, a stretcher, like so, all the way along, like that, and you go up again. So that's Flemish bond there. Now, when it comes to the corners, it gets a little bit more difficult. If we take this apart, I'll do this quickly because it's starting to rain. We use what is called a queen closer on here, because what you would do is you can't just have it like that, like that, like that, because on this end you'd put one like that and you'd get a straight joint. Now in brickwork you do not want a straight joint because it's not strong. You basically, essentially, the rule that I go by is you put one on top of two, whether it be one on top of two, one on top of two, but always put one on top of two. Now to combat this, again, we use what's called a queen closer. So what is a queen closer here? A queen closer is 46mm cut off the end, plonk that in like that, and then you put a stretcher in there. So when you go on top of it, there'll be a header over here, like so. So when you go on top of it, you immediately put a header, and there you go. You got your bonds straight away, just like so. So queen closers are what you use, and on the return, you put same there. And essentially, it's the same as that. You just follow it through that way. It's a little bit more tricky than a half bond because you've got these queen closers that you need to cut. But originally, when you did it solid wall, the queen closer would be all the way through there. It would be that whole section of brick rather than just this bit, because, as I said, 100mm, you've got a cavity. So it'd be split all the way down there. They are a pain in the arse to cut with a hammer and bolster. So that is what we're looking at for the bond of the bricks. It's not raining too badly, so I might try and get a corner built. I'll turn you guys off and put you in the dry, but I'm going to see if I can get a bit of a corner built. So there you go, that's a little corner out of Flemish. Right, I'll leave there because it's starting to really rain and I want to get all this covered up before it gets too wet. I'll leave it there for the day and I'll come back to you guys tomorrow. Got to quickly cover this all up. So it's been a couple of days, we're on Friday now, mid-afternoon. It's been a dismal past couple of days. Wednesday, Thursday, it was very wet. I managed to get a few corners up and I dug a vast majority of that sand out. Only this little section here needs doing. One thing I didn't explain the other day was, why do we build corners first? Why don't you just build the whole lot as you go up? So you could do that, but it would take you an extremely long time. Right, let me just explain. Right, so you have one corner here, one corner over there, for example. What you do is you set up lines, like string lines. Not quite string, they've got a bit of movement in, so if you pull it, it stretches a bit. Very, very strong. They're designed to be pulled as tight as possible so that the string is a very straight line. I'll go over there and grab him and set up on here, and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. And here we have it. There's the string line going straight through to the other side, just there. Right, what these things are, these are called corner blocks. What happens is the string line goes through here, through that little niche, and then you wrap it round, so when you pull it tight, it doesn't come undone. Now you hold that on the corner. Now where you hold it, you put it in line with the top of the brick. So where you want the top of the brick, you have that line, and the line should be a Rizzler paper's width off, so nothing's actually touching that line. And what you do is you put your muck down on here, you get your brick and basically just tap it down and lay it to that line. That line, as long as it's pulled really tight, is as straight and as level as you're ever going to get, and it's a lot quicker than going all the way along there with a level. So you just plonk them on and do it like that, and you do it with these corner blocks. So when you're ready, all you do, you've done one course, just lift it up in line with the top of the brick and off you go. It's a simple way of doing it. These techniques haven't really changed in hundreds of years. Bricklayers are still using primitive tools, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Don't have machines that, well, actually you do have machines building houses now. You can have bricklaying machines, but mate, it's cheaper just to get me in, get your house built. So that's how you set up, that's why you build corners to start with, and that's how you lay bricks basically. So I'll set it up and show you exactly the ins and outs of building a wall. Right, okay, so I'll leave you there this week. Just make sure you hit that like button and that subscribe button, and then you're in future content. I'm here. Our house is done, we're still in the ground. Got a ways to go, but we're getting some bricks down now, which is good. We've got the block and beam on the way.